Well, other stuff going on, because it's not just trucking you got to worry about, but stuff at home. Uh, Water heater here. It quit working. We came down. We woke up to cold water one day, so had to figure out what it was. First thing you always want to do is get your multimeter, test it on a known hot. Make sure it's working, that you know how to use it, and shut the breaker. Yeah, I gotta put the panel back on and shut the breaker off to your water heater, or shut the gas off, whatever you need to do with it. And make sure it's turned off very carefully. Remove the panel, test it with your meter, make sure it's cold, and then down there as well. This one has a reset breaker. It's electric. It has its own breaker inside there. Reset it. Had hot water again. Came back the next day. Next morning, it was cold again. So did the same thing. Turned it off. Pulled the panel. Checked it. Breaker didn't need resetting. And this stain was from that line breaking a while ago. There's no issues. Unrelated, but found that on the inside of this panel, it was a lot of condensation with it. So what it did, took a piece of paper towel, set it down right here and draped it. Actually, let me show you. I did this kind of a thing. There you go. Had it set down like that, and the wiring, how it's looped down like this, was pressed into it to keep it from falling or shifting. Just a flat layer. Because I found that this area was all wet down here, and I was like, "Oh, that ain't supposed to be like that." I don't want water collecting in there, so this was they would soak up the water and wick it and let it drop down. That's why everything down here is wet, because this was sitting overnight. And not exactly the safest thing to do, because, this is hot. See, power's off. Because this is a hot wire here, and if that were to connect to that water and short it out, it could cause an issue. But I didn't want water collecting in there, so I left the lower screw loose so the panel could be open a little bit. It was snugged on the top one, lower one loose a little bit, and it helped wick the water out. And it worked fine. We had hot water, everything's good, but definitely a temporary situation. I came down here. Whoops, sorry about that. Oops, there we go. I came down here and looked at it, and you can slightly see this bit of corrode, this bit of a scuzz right here between the metal and the plastic. That shouldn't be anything there. Right here is where it would leak from if the gasket was failing. Here is where it leaks from. I forgot my screwdriver, actually. Right there is where it leaks from when the heating element has failed. And that's exactly what had happened. Let me give that a turn, show you a bit better. See that? See all this scale build up on it, because it was leaking from between the plastic and the metal body. So if you're in a situation like mine, we have what's called a Michigan basement, and it's like you can see over there, kind of, that's just dirt. Dirt and piled stone, basically. We don't have a sump or anything. We have no way to drain water out here. We just got to let it air out or bucket it out. So if you're in a situation like this, and you got to replace especially the lower thermostat, either the thermostat or the heating element, how do you do that without any drain or anything? If you're in a normal house, you got a sump, you just thread a hose onto there, shut your water off, shut your pump off or whatever, and I would open that valve, open one of the faucets upstairs, and then open the drain and just let the drain right out, because you got to allow water to get into it somehow. And so the water would be pulled in through the faucet, replacing the water that's in here, letting the water drain out. Did I say water come in? Air goes in through the faucet into the tank, letting the water drain out into your sump. Your sump handles the drain. Perfect. Well, I don't have a sump, so how do I do that? A drain pan. It's got a cap on the spout. It's got this little thing here. So first thing, after, of course, everything is shut off, no power, keep your hand out of the way. Don't do this, because when that water comes out of there, it can be quite hot. So keep your fingers and everything out of the way. Blur, 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 blur. I've been doing this for a while. This is like the 6th or 7th pan worth. Open that. Now see, it's not really coming out. It's very slow, because I have both the valves closed. So we still have water upstairs, just cold water only. You hear it slurping back in the air. So how to drain it faster, you take advantage of water tension or surface tension. Give this a few turns to loosen it. Here we go. Don't want to loosen it all the way, because then it just comes dumping out of there. Take a flat tip, stick it between. There we go. You can hear all that? That's some hot water coming out of there. That allows air to come in through here to allow the water to drain out from there. The reason I'm using a screwdriver, I could like hold it or pull it just that little bit to get it angled right. But that's tedious. Screwdriver, I can just stick it in there and give it a twist as needed. I'm gonna let it sit there, or even just hold it just like that. Yeah, very little effort. In sight, you see it moving. Yep. You don't want to pull it all the way because then you're blocking the threads again. You don't want to let it sit flat because then you're blocking the threads. You want to pull it just halfway. And you wait for it to fill. And I'm using this kind because it's got that plug in the middle, which is behind me. Oops. There we go. That once this fills up, when the water starts puddling on top, I'll close them both down. And I'll put the plug in the middle, cap that back down. And that plug in the middle is only there to keep water from sloshing out, because I gotta go through the basement here, all the crawl space, half crawl space, out over there and crawl through to the addition and go outside and dump it outside. Now it may be an oil pan, but I'm only dumping water. This has actually never been used. We had to buy this today because my oil pan is still stuck in my truck, which is stuck in Montana. So this is how you can drain a hot water tank without a sump. Valves are closed. Easier method would be to open the cold, open a faucet up top, just turn the faucet on basically and let it pull air down. But I didn't want to drain all the water. It's just like maybe save an extra gallon or two, but whatever. I'd have to sit down here monitoring this anyway. I'd still have to open and close this accordingly. The only extra step is loosening that and holding it by a screwdriver, but so what? I don't mind. Just a little bit extra effort. And there we go. That is how you can drain hot water tank without a sump, doing it manually. Get yourself a capped, there's a threaded cap on the end there, drain pan, because there's the depth to it. Yep, see, all the way down there. And just do this. There you go.